Om Namah Shri Jaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukhaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. So last time we saw Swamiji had come to Ramnath and he delivered an address in reply to the welcome at Ramnath. So there Swamiji spoke highly of our Indian religion and Indian culture and Indian tradition. And he compared, as usual, with the Western legacy and Western technological developments and material achievements. And then he, as usual, as he was doing since the beginning in Colombo, he again reiterated the same fact at Ramnath also, that our nature, our purpose of our Indian life is to pursue religion. And that purpose of everybody's life cannot be renounced. Purpose of somebody's life for which he is born, for which he is manufactured, for which he comes into this world, that cannot be renounced for something else. So as Bhagavan says in the Bhagavad Gita, that paradharmo bhayava swadharme nidhanam shreya. So though it may be attractive, somebody else's way of life, somebody else's ideals, somebody else's ideas, his religion, it may be alluring to me, it may be outwardly tempting me that yes, we are better than you. Paradharma means dharma should not be taken as the religious denominations of the present time only. So the dharma, paradharma means Bhagavan is not telling the definition of dharma as understood now. He is telling paradharma means what? It's everybody else, every person has got his own purpose of life, has his own swadharma. So each one has got his own dharma, actually speaking. Every single person is an individual, unique product of this universe. And this universe is taking him through that unique purpose of his life forward. So that purpose of his life for which he has come into this universe, if he renounces for the better looking purpose of somebody else's life, so then what happens? It is bhayavaha. Bhagavan says that it is very fearful to pursue somebody else's path. It may end up into disaster. And what he's saying? Swadharme nidhanam shreya. It is better to die pursuing your own religion. It is better to stick to your own guns. It is better to stick to your own nature, the very inborn nature, the inborn natural tendencies. It is better to stick to them rather than you are copying or importing somebody else's tendencies and you are trying to make them your life. You are trying to now changing, entirely transform your life. So it is not very advisable. So Swadharme Nidhanam Shreya, better to die. So Swamiji praised, last time we saw, Swamiji praised our orthodoxy. Swamiji compared with the orthodoxy of Indian people and with the material developments and liberalism of the West. Then he told, I will prefer to be orthodox. Why? Because an orthodox man, Swamiji says, is having some metal in him, is having some substance in him, on the basis of which he is static, his ground. He is not leaving his ground. He may be abused. Ari, you are an orthodox person. You are a very additional person. You are holding on to same old ideas. Like that, he is abused every day by those other people who are coming from foreign countries. But he still doesn't leave his orthodoxy. He doesn't leave his own tradition. Swami says, I find this man better. Though he may be having some faults in him, but if compared with that, I will find this man better. Why? Because that so-called Western liberal has no ground to stand upon. Today he is preaching one idea, tomorrow he is preaching another idea. Day after tomorrow he changes his idea. So that person is not at all, I cannot rely upon him because his ideas and ideals are changing every now and then. So I will better back upon the orthodox person who has been following the thousands of years of Vedic traditions, which he has not seen himself. The mantras, probably he does not understand all the meaning of them. The traditions, he may not be understanding all the purposes of various things that are followed, but he still is not leaving them. He is very strictly following them. So Swamiji is telling this person, I find better. Why? Because he is standing on a thousands of years old, a very strong and very time-tested system. On the other hand, that Western person, he has no system. He has no, forget about thousands of years. I cannot rely upon him. Whatever system, whatever idea or ideal he gives to me, if I accept it, I don't know whether it will last tomorrow also. Swamiji says. Like these kind of sentiments he expresses. That I cannot believe in a Western person because his ideas and ideals are ever changing. They are not tested. They may sound good. They may look good. They may look kind of attractive, but they are not really, they have not been materialized. They have not been properly executed throughout the centuries. For a small time, they might be proved successful, but we have the systems in place. In India, we have systems in place which are being working, which are being executed for centuries, and nobody has given them up. They are followed like that. So Swamiji is praising that this is what I want to tell you all Indian people, that this is our main, main strength. So this is our strength. All these things we saw, and then he came to different discussions about our spirituality, our religion, and then he inspired people of the Ramnath who were welcoming him that, see, upon all of us is the future of India, depends the future of this country. And that so we have to work for this. And very inspiring, the Ramnath lecture is very inspiring. He begins also the very inspiring note, and he finishes also at a very inspiring note that we saw last time. So we need not repeat it. Now we will come to the next lecture, which is at Paramakudi. So a reply to the address of welcome at Paramakudi. Paramakudi was the first stopping place after leaving Ramnath, and there was a demonstration on a large scale, including the presentation of the following address. So the gathering who were there, they presented Swamiji address of welcome. Srimad Vivekananda Swami. We, the citizens of Paramakudi, respectfully beg to accord to your holiness a most hearty welcome to this place after your successful spiritual campaign of nearly 4 years in the Western world. We share with our countrymen the feelings of joy and pride and the philanthropy which prompted you to attend the Parliament of Religions held at Chicago and lay before the representatives of the religious world the sacred but hidden treasures of our ancient land. You have, by your wide exposition of the sacred truths contained in the Vedic literature, disabused the enlightened minds of the West of the prejudices entertained by them against our ancient faith, and convinced them of its universality and adaptability for intellects of all shades and in all ages. So they have, in a very, very wonderful apt words, so the people, the gathering, the group of people who had organized this, so wonderfully they repay Swamiji's so much sacrifice that he did in America. So they are so, in a wonderful word, they are praising Swami. And we'll see how Swamiji also praises them. So they are in a wonderful words, they say how you have removed their prejudices about our ancient faith, how our ancient traditions and this thing were looked down upon by them before you were going. And after you are reaching there and after your speeches, their views are changing. Their understanding of the ancient faith of the Hindus is being changing because of him. So this is what they are saying. Then they say, the presence amongst us of your Western disciples is proof positive that your religious teachings have not only been understood in theory, but have also borne practical fruits. The magnetic influence of your august person reminds us of our ancient holy rishis, whose realization of the self by asceticism and self-control made them the true guides and preceptors of the human race. So you are like a rishi. You are like, we have ancient holy rishi with that was realization and asceticism and self-control. Is really a fitting and a very apt thing that to guide those Westerners and to make them your disciples. In conclusion, they say, we most earnestly pray to the All-Merciful that your holiness may long be spared to continue to bless and spiritualize the whole of mankind. With best regards, we beg to subscribe ourselves your holiness's most obedient and devoted disciples and servants. So these people at Paramapudi, they are addressing him like that we are your most obedient and devoted disciples and servants, and always offering ourselves to your cause, preaching this ancient faith, and we are submitting ourselves to this. That is what the sentiment is. Now Swamiji's reply will start. In the course of his reply, the Swami said, so beautifully he starts, Swamiji, and he is repaying their gratitude again by praising them. It is almost impossible, Swamiji says, to express my thanks for the kindness and cordiality with which you have received me. But if I may be permitted to say so, I will add that my love for my country, and especially for my countrymen, will be the same whether they receive me with the utmost cordiality or spurn me from the country. For in the Gita, Sri Krishna says, men should work for work's sake only, and love for love's sake only. So he is saying that, see, I am the man of this country, and I am talking to my countrymen. It is my own country. And even if you say words of gratitude to me, even if you praise me, that also is welcome. And even if you remove me from this country, even if you throw me out of this country and abuse me or criticize me, still I will not have any slightest slightest pain in or slightest feeling that no, I don't deserve it. Because I did it for my country. I did not expect returns of praise or blame, neither. So whether you praise me or blame me, both are same to me. Because I did not do it for the sake of praise. Because I did it for my own country, for my own people. So then when you do something for your own, then you don't seek the thanks letter or a letter of gratitude from them. The mother is not expecting a thanks letter every day from her son, and nor son will be expecting the thanks letter from mother every day. So there is one this thing now. There is one story. Swamiji is lecturing in the West. He is telling, I hear people, some newspaper or somewhere report that somebody did something for his mother, like this newspaper report he read, and he was being praised for that. And then Swamiji said, what is their greatness about it? We in India, we find we Hindus, we have this duty to do everything possible for others. We feel it our duty. It is natural to us. So what is the praising about it? Somebody does something for his very own, and that if you want to have big letters of gratitude, it is unsolicited. It is not required. Because in India, people think it natural to work for their own people, to do something for their own. So why you people are having this kind of culture in you, that you if anything you say, anything you do for your own people, within your family also, there will be thank you, and all this kind of they have to say with each other, that thank you. Even if somebody very near and dear one does something, gives water to you, and I am thirsty, please will you give water to mother? If a son asks and mother gives water, thank you, mama. So if he has to say like that, it is it's a joke for Indian people actually, because they don't expect it. Mother for son or son for mother, it is natural to work for each other. So it is very astonishing for me. Swamiji is expressing that kind of thought in that lecture. So we don't take, that is what the religion of Vedanta, what it is teaching, that you are that. You are one with this universe. You are not doing anything for somebody else. Whatever you are doing, it is for yourself. So what is there to expect gratitude and praise and blame? With somebody praises or somebody blames, it is actually your own expression only. The praise was also your own self praising yourself, and blame also your own self praising blaming yourself. So praise and blame should be neutral for the person of man of knowledge. Okay, somebody is praising. Okay, my own expression is there. I am only serving my own self. That is his view. That is his vision of Advaitic vision. And from that Advaitic point of view, Indian person who is rooted in this Vedic culture, he is working. So whenever he does something, even if a roadside person, if he is going and somebody is thirsty, he gives water. He never expects that that person should thank him. And there should be a program organized for thanking that person. Oh, he has given water to a thirsty person, so he should be felicitated, he should be garlanded, and he has done a great monumental work. No, this was never a culture of India. Indian people and saints and sages, they have shown even dogs and donkeys and cattle, if they are suffering, they used to sacrifice their life for even saving cattle and dog and these things, animals also. So what to talk of human beings? So our sages have been showing this tradition of working without any motive, without any praise, without any remuneration. Okay, but now what we have done, we have given up this Swadharma. This was our Swadharma, working without any expectation. This was in our nature, in our culture. Now what happens? We have given up that Paradharma Bhayava. We have inculcated the Western Paradharma. And now anything I do for you, even if I give water to you, I will expect how much you will give me. Something at least you will give me. Something in remuneration. Okay, so this person had given me water. So what, at least some rupees or something, some benefit. So this is what our mentality has become now. Because Paradharma we have imbibed. And Swamiji is asking us to come back to Swadharma. And that because that is our orthodoxy. That is what we have to stick to. That is what we have to, at any cost, live on. And that is what we have to any cost hold on to. It may be miserable to give water to somebody and feel yourself thirsty. It may be miserable to die out of thirst because you give water to somebody, but you will die in happiness because you followed your Swadharma. But if you follow the other Western Paradharma, that what will happen at the time of death? Because if you sell water to somebody and expecting remuneration, if you die, you will have to die miserable. That person did not pay me back. I gave him water and they did not pay me back. This will be your miserable condition. So your dharma will Swadharme Nidhanam Shreya. Why? What Bhagavan is saying, better to die in following what you believe in, following what you have been taught by your own religion and by your own culture. But don't just because it looks attractive, something looks glittery, something looks shining, so immediately I jump upon it. That will be foolish. So this is what Swamiji is again and again is telling. And that's why the same thing he is telling, that I don't expect neither praise nor blame from you people. But because I have worked for my own people, so I'm not working for your praise, neither your blame. And I will not leave you, even if you blame me, even if you abuse me, even if you throw me out of the country, I will come back again. Swamiji says in the later lectures also. He says that I will come back if you throw me out, and I will again try to work for you. So this is Swamiji's that work for work's sake idea. Then he continues. The work that has been done by me in the Western world has been very little. There is no one present here who could not have done 100 times more work in the West that has been done by me. So see, Swamiji is telling that all of you people, everyone among you would have done 100 times more than me. I have not done anything. That is what he is saying. And I am anxiously waiting for the day. See, very nicely he said. And I am anxiously waiting for the day when mighty minds will arise, gigantic spiritual minds, who will be ready to go forth from India to the ends of the world to teach spirituality and renunciation. Those ideas which have come from the forests of India and belong to Indian soil alone. So he has already planned that he will start the machinery which will work for preaching Indian ideas, Indian Vedanta to the Western world. And he is sowing the seeds of that idea. He's already planned. When he came back from the West, he has already planned. I want to gather people now. Enough of it. These people are disorganized. They are just scattered. They don't know what to do. Indian people, they are very dedicated people. If they are given a good idea, an ideal, they will dedicate their life. But they don't have any such person is not there who will show them the true path. And now I have traveled around the world. So long, what happened? They were not getting any proper leader, because there was not a leader who has traveled all over the world. All the leaders of so far, before Swamiji, who were great leaders, they never went outside India. So they could not tell with that authority that, see, I know, I have seen those people, I have seen our people. Now I compare and tell you that we are the best and follow, let us follow. Nobody could tell that. But now Swamiji was with that authority, he came. Then Swamiji is telling, I have seen enough of the Western world also. And I'm coming back and telling you that you take up this idea, and work there, dedicate yourself. So and Swamiji knows, because of his success in the West, this is the right time. The iron is hot. So I can hit the set iron when it is hot. It will mold according to my wishes. But if it's cool, if the heat is lost, then that iron will not mold. So that Indian people are now very much spirited. They are very much excited. They are very much jubilant, and very much waiting to listen to me, my ideas. And as soon as I throw those ideas into their minds, they are like hungry. They're waiting, our Vivekananda has gone there, and let us listen to him what he says. And the moment I put the seed, they will be immediately jumping to work it out. So this was his faith, and that's why he's very much aggressively pushing this idea to Indian people that, no, what I have planned for you, something. So if you accept this plan, if you work for me, then you will be glorified. If you don't work for me, you will have to suffer. He gives both the options. He says, if you don't listen to me, within 3 generations, you will be annihilated. The race will be totally obliterated. If you completely accept Western materialism and give up your religion, then you will be, within 3 generations, last lecture we read it, that Swami says, that if you absolutely give up your own Swadharma and accept the Paradharma, you will be vanished by the third generation. So he gives this option. You choose. I am giving you very much the option of choosing what you want to do. But the result also I am going to tell you. So one option, you will be finished within 3 generations. And the another options, you will rise and rise and rise, become glorious and glorious. So that is what he will continue to tell people. Then next he says, there comes periods in the history of the human race when, as it were, whole nations are seized with a sort of world weariness, when they find that all their plans are slipping between their fingers, that old institutions and systems are crumbling into dust, that their hopes are all blighted, and everything seems to be out of joint. 2 attempts have been made in the world to found social life. The one upon religion, the other was upon social necessity. The one was founded upon spirituality, the other upon materialism. The one upon transcendentalism, the other upon realism. The one looks beyond the horizon of this little material world and is bold enough to begin life there, even apart from the other. The other, the second, is content to take its stand on the things of the world and expects to find a firm footing there. Curiously enough, it seems that at times the spiritual side prevails, and then the material side in wave-like motions following each other. So he is telling, so if we study the history of humanity over our entire globe, then what we find, that there is a kind of continuously the nations are as if they are working for something. They are continuously hungry for something, and they are continuously working. They are pursuing some goal as if, and they say everybody's way of pursuing that particular goal is different. So in general, largely, broadly speaking, there are two streams, Swami says. Because when people, all nations, they want to, as if hold on to something. They want to capture something. They want to achieve something. Now, one type of stream is that it will try to hold on to that or achieve that through spiritual means, through religious means, through transcendental means. It has its nature, its natural tendency, broadly speaking, these two categories in main. One, broadly speaking, first category is a spiritual seeking. So those two, the whole nation, the whole society works for continuously struggling, continuously dashing themselves on the walls of this world and the sufferings and the miseries and the limitations, and trying to overcome them through spiritual means. And the other portion, other broad category is that they are struggling, they are banging the walls of these limitations of this world, the struggles of this world through material progress, through the realism. They say, okay, there are problems in this world, let us find out a solution through material science. So there is one broad category which they don't care about the transcendental means of finding the solutions of these problems. They try to find realistic means. So what are those realistic means? If somebody is suffering, they will try to, if somebody has a health problem, they will try to cut open the body and see what is the problem inside. They want to see in the microscope. And they will study what are organisms, what are viruses and bacteria are affecting that person and this and that. And they will go on working on that side. And they will create a science and technology for solving that health suffering. Another person, what he does is, if he has health suffering, he goes for transcendental means, he goes for spiritual. What he does is, he tries to analyze his mind. He tries to analyze his life. Where is I'm going wrong? Where my life is going wrong? Where my thoughts are going wrong? Why I am having this pain in this particular part of my body? So this way, he will try to solve the problem. He will try to continuously struggle. Okay, this pain is coming here. Why this pain started here? Where I went wrong? On this kind of analysis he does. He is going into transcendental means. He will try to transcend this body. Okay, pain is in the body, but am I the body? Oh no, I am the mind. Okay, pain is in the mind. I am suffering depression. I am suffering anxiety. But am I the mind? No, I am the intellect. No, but intellect also, it is confused. It is suffering with confusion. It is suffering with debilitation. So what is this? No, I am the something behind the intellect. So like this, transcendentalist, spiritualist attitude, one category of people are pursuing, one category of nations are pursuing. Another category is, they are going through cutting open everything that is outside, analyzing it and measuring it and putting it on the paper. Okay, mathematical equations they will put and try to work out it. So Swami is saying these are the two main, broadly speaking, these two streams. And they are going like this. And what happens as a waveform, like what happens one time, spiritual transcendentalism dominates the masses, that kind of attitude. And on the other times, after that domination is over, material wave comes. That time, then nobody will go for the transcendent. Very, very less people will go. Then materialistic wave will come. So like the sine wave, like this continuous ties, one after another, they are like chasing each other. And then he continues. In the same country, there will be different types. At one time, the full flood of materialistic ideas prevails. And everything in this life, prosperity, the education which procures more pleasure, more food, will become glorious at first. And then that will degrade and degenerate. Along with the prosperity will rise to white heat all the inborn jealousies and hatreds of the human race. Competition and merciless cruelty will be the watchword of the day. To quote a very commonplace and not very elegant English proverb, everyone for himself and the devil take the hindmost, becomes the motto of the day. So what happens? When that tide is more powerful, when the materialistic tide is more prevalent in the society, what happens? So everybody is struggling to get more pleasures, more food, more coveting more things. And then what happens? Competition grows. No, I should have more. Then what happens? Jealousies will come. Hatred will come. So many things will come. And that will be rampant. So much competition will be there that everyone for himself. And the devil take the hindmost. So those who are deprived, those who are weak, the people, what they will say? And they let them die. Oh, who cares about them? I don't have time also. I have to keep paying more and more wealth. I have to gain more and more power, more and more pleasure. I don't have time to look after any underprivileged or disabled or poor or marginalized person. So I don't have time. Let him die. So this attitude prevails in the society when the height of materialism comes. And then this becomes a watchword of the society. What is that? Everyone for himself. Everybody is only thinking about himself. My salary, my remuneration, my property, everything. Everybody is my only will go. Nothing is yours, only mine. And then what happens? Swami says, then people think that the whole scheme of life is a failure. Why? Because now everything is my you are doing, and your life did not give you anything. No, all this whole life you are only in competition, merciless cruelty is happening. So life is a failure. As a whole, as a humanity, as a human race, you became complete failure. Because what you achieved, nothing. You became, you are just eating each other. You are just looting each other. That is what you did. So you are a failure. Then what happens next? And the world would be destroyed. Had not spirituality come to the rescue and lent a helping hand to the sinking world, then the world gets a new hope and finds a new basis for a new being. And another wave of spirituality comes, which in time again declines. So what happens? This material wave came. Now, to respond to this failure of material wave that it gave, spirituality gives that helping hand. Okay, wait. I will give you peace of mind. I will give you something. Then it starts rising. That wave starts rising. Then people realize, oh, my material life is of no use. I should go to spirituality. I should go to transcendental life. Then what happens? That whole, as if the whole crowd is rushing towards spirituality now. And it is going to spiritual. Then what happens? That waves rise and it goes to its peak. It will be, everybody is talking about spirituality. Then what happens? Again, that also starts declining. Why? That is the reason also of that decline Swamiji gives in the next paragraph. So what happens then? As a rule, spirituality brings a class of men who lay exclusive claim to the special powers of the world. So what happens? When the spirituality started growing, transcendentalism started growing, people who are having that knowledge of transcendence, knowledge of spirituality, they become having exclusive claim. They will say, no, if you only come to me, if you surrender to me, then only you are saved. Then those people become special people. They have become privileged people. They have become privileged class. Special powers are there. Society, they are all powerful people in the society because they're having something that other people are not having. They're having a key to the other world. So they become the custodians of the spiritual world. They become the custodians of heaven. And they say, okay, you give me this, then I will give you the key to the heaven. And then what happens? Then that also abusing of the spiritual knowledge and powers, this does. So this continuously, this struggle between two, as if there is a weighing machine, as if it goes on. One time it goes down, this comes up. One time this goes up, this comes down. Like this it is happening. Then he says, the immediate effect of this is a reaction towards materialism, which opens the door to scores of exclusive claims, until the time comes when not only all the spiritual powers of the race, but all its material powers and privileges are centered in the hands of a very few, and these few standing on the necks of the masses of the people want to rule them. Then society has to help itself, and materialism comes to rescue. Then what happens? Now, so when spiritual wave came and all the powers and privileges came to only few people, and those people are abusing the common people. They are not giving any privileges to common people. Hey, no, you are all downtrodden. You are all outcast. So, like that Shankara's story is there, Shankaracharya. The Dura Mapasara Chandal is told. Then he was Shiva himself, who came as a Chandal to test his knowledge. And Shankara was out of his own habit of this, this thing. He took bath in the Ganges and coming from the Ghat, then he, after taking bath in the Ganga, he is walking back, and that time he is seeing a person dirty looking along with the dogs and all. So he is saying, I have just now taken bath in Ganga, and this person is spoiling my purity. So he is saying, Dura Mapasara Chanda, Shankaracharya is saying. Then he says, that whom you are telling, Chandala, whether are you telling this Chandala to this Annamaya Kosha, or whether you are telling to the self within, who is the Chandala according to you, whom you are addressing actually? To this body, which is physical, which is form of matter, or you are the person or the soul which is inside this body. Then he suddenly started. Then he goes, suddenly he feels, what is this? Whom I am talking to? I am talking that he is a low caste. He is a pariah, but he is not a pariah, but he is a man of knowledge. He is, in fact, he enlightened me with the very crux of my spiritual knowledge, the Vedanta, that what is this Vedanta? The soul alone is the real. And that is what. Then suddenly he realizes his mistake. And this is the famous story about Shankara's life. That then he, we hear in that, we read in his life. So this kind of thing we see that those few, what they do, they oppress others. When the spiritual power comes to them, they start despising others. Oh, you are useless people. We are only the people who are privileged. We are only special people. We are only spiritual people. You are all not spirituals. Like this differentiation starts growing, and then what happens? The very purpose of spirituality is lost. Oh, what is purpose of spirituality? Is universal acceptance. What is crux of Vedanta and Vedic religion is universal acceptance. The man of knowledge is a man who has become one with the universe. So this is his life, and this is his consciousness. So that they start going against it. Some privileged people, they lose this consciousness, they lose this idea, they lose this very crux of religion. And what they start abusing the privileges that they get. And then what happens? The decline of that wave starts. Then what happens? To help them, how to rescue these people. They are all the time, they are being told, you are downtrodden, you are useless, you are hopeless. And these people are, because kings are also in their hands. Now spiritual gurus of such time, such peak, they will be dominating the kings also. So they will be telling what policies should be made, what different rules should be made for the society. So everything is there in their hand. So where to go now? How to rescue ourselves? We are the common people. Where he will go? They are standing on their neck. Swami is telling, and they are completely crushing them. These people. No. Then materialism comes to their rescue. What? How? Now we see. The same thing had happened in India. And exactly same, Swami is saying history, he sees, and this spiritual wave from his peak, he started declining, and he started abusing people. He started totally exploiting people, common masses, and they were shouting, they were screaming for help. And who came for help? This material West came for help. They simply bored a hole into this castle, this fort that we had built, the spiritual fort, which was conservative, which was narrow, which had become narrow. And then they bore a hole and they entered into it, and they destroyed all this thing, and they brought railways, they brought technology, they brought science and this and that, material development, money. Then what happened? These common people were saved by this materialism, because otherwise they were almost crushed, almost destroyed under the feet of these people, crony people, these spiritual people. But see, spiritual doesn't mean here that we have to understand in proper context everything. If we miss the context, if we misunderstand the words, then we may generalize those things and blame everybody spiritual. No, Swamiji is not telling that. Not every spiritual person was doing this. Only some people who had kind of taken mainly priesthood, which had grown. So power of some kingdom, or power of some temple, or power of some community, if that comes into hand of some priest or some spiritual leader, then what happens? He starts guiding, he or she, he starts guiding them, and he becomes powerful. And slowly the decline comes, if that same spirit is not continued. So that is the danger, Swami says, that our society had faced. And then who came to rescue materialism? What happened? Because of this, now we see that materialism completely transformed our society. Our society caught hold of materialism like a hungry person who has not taken food for days. If somebody puts a plate in front of him full of food, various items, then he will jump on that plate and he will devour that plate, finish it, as if that the Indian masses, what they did, the moment the materialism culture came through the foreign invasions, then they simply crushed those things. So they simply embraced it immediately. Why? Because that was the only savior from these terrible clutches of our religious rules and so much of operation. You should not do this. You are not fit to do this. Everybody is telling them that you are not fit to do this. You are not fit to do this. We are only fit. You are not fit. This continues, these generations together, centuries together, they are going on hearing it. So now they are hungry to jump out of this well. Now they are all into this deep well. They are caught up. Now who will rescue us? Materialism rescued them. The materialism put a staircase in that well. You come out. You will be, otherwise you will drown in that well. You will in the dark well of this decline of spiritualist culture. So this is what revival comes. Then these incarnations come because they have to again set the whole thing right. They have to again reset these cultural and religious abnormalities and again put the world civilization on a original track. So this is what the discussion will go on. That how Swamiji then suggests that how what we should follow, what ideas we should follow. Then he says, I think we have 5 minutes. 5 minutes for 10 minutes. If you look at India, one paragraph reads, if you look at India, our motherland, you will see that the same thing is going on now. That is what Swami said. Same thing is going. That you are here today to welcome one who went to Europe to preach Vedanta would have been impossible had not the materialism of Europe opened the way for it. Materialism has come to the rescue of India in a certain sense by throwing open the doors of life to everyone, by destroying the exclusive privileges of caste, by opening up to discussion the inestimable treasures which were hidden away in the hands of a very few who have ever lost the use of them. So what they did, what our people did, only few castes were having all the privileges and all the knowledge of the Vedas. Now what happened? They are not giving it to others. Then what happened? And they themselves don't know what to do with it. What happened? Because of the decline, because they are just carrying that Vedic culture and Vedic stotras, mantras, knowledge, everything, but they themselves have never used it. They are just muttering it. They are just repeating it. So Swamiji says, they themselves have lost the use of them. And half has been stolen and lost. So most of the Vedic literature had been stolen and lost. It was burnt, it was vanished, it was destroyed. Temples destroyed, literature destroyed. We don't know even many of the scriptures, many of the texts. Who wrote those texts, we don't know. Because we have lost so many of these things. Now what happens? Swami says, stolen and lost, and the other half, which remains in the hands of men who, like dogs in the manger, do not eat themselves and will not allow others to do so. So now, remaining people who are having this knowledge, they are like dogs in the manger. What they will do, those dogs? They will not eat that themselves and they will not allow. They will attack other dogs if they come to eat. Hungry dogs, they will not allow others, anybody, other animal. So like this what they did, these upper castes, they had all the knowledge and they captured it and they did not allow to spread that knowledge. And that's why what happened? They kept others also hungry and they themselves also remained hungry because they themselves did not know how to eat it, what to do with it. So this is what Swamiji is telling. See, we have to understand it in the right context. This criticism of our masses is not absolute criticism. We have to understand it properly. Because what he is pointing out is, those areas where our faults are, let us realize those faults and work them out. Otherwise, what will happen? It is not that he is trying to put all the blame on somebody only, some caste or some people only. No, it will be. It is not Swamiji's intention. Swamiji is only pointing out. See, if you had not done this mistake, now we would not have seen this decline, and we would not have. It was not necessary for you to thank me for going to Europe but preaching Vedanta. It was not necessary. If you had already done it, if you would not have kept that knowledge only within your four walls of your house, not giving to anybody else, then this would not have happened. This knowledge would have already spread. And I would not be a great person because I went and talked about Vedanta. You would not have thanked me for that. You would have thanked yourself, in fact. You would have thanked your forefathers for that. But unfortunately, I am the person who is getting all the advantage of whatever faults you did, whatever crimes you did. I am the person who is reaping the benefit of that. What is the benefit? I am the first to realize this fault. I am the first person to understand, oh my God, this is the fault that we are doing. Let us spread our knowledge. Let us give it to everybody. Let us not keep it to ourselves, because let there be somebody who knows how to eat it. If there is a food in my house which I am not eating myself, I don't know how to cook it, let me at least distribute it. Somebody knows how to cook it. He will at least be out of hunger. But what I did so far, I did not. I kept everybody hungry. And that's why I am suffering. I made enemies of my own neighbors because I kept them hungry. Then they became my enemies. If I had given my food in my house to them, they would have come to save me in times of my misery, suffering. But what happened? Reverse happened. They drove me off. What is the result of now? We see that those people who they never helped their neighbors, suffering neighbors, underprivileged neighbors, now all of those masses, they became powerful because of materialistic way, and they removed all those people who had been all the time trampling them underfoot because of some privileges. So what happened? This is what we have. If would not have happened, if you would not have done this narrow-mindedness, selfishness, if you would not have had this hunger for power, everything for yourself, that Swami said, no, everything for myself, and let the devil take the hindmost. That is what the attitude your people, your own Hindu people who were having knowledge of the Veda, they did like this. I am having Vedic knowledge. I am having Vedic tradition. I am having all this parampara. Let the other masses go to hell. What is there to me? That is what you did. This is not the Vedas were meant for. Vedas were meant for everybody. Vedas taught what the Vedas taught. They taught that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And all these ideas were there in the Vedas only. That everybody is one person. So, but what you did? You did not know how to utilize it. You did not know how to eat that idea of Veda. Only you kept on chanting. Every day you are chanting. That Swastina Indro Vruddhasava, Swasthom Bhadram Karnevi, Madhu Atarutayata. Everything you are chanting every day. But you don't know how to exactly implement it in your life. How to actually implement that Bhadram Karnevi, Swastina Indro, Madhu Ata, all these Vedic suttas, how to actually practice it. You did not practice it. And that's what is happened. The material way of the West came to rescue of those people who were suffering. So this is what the plight of our Indian people that we have to understand. Unless we understand where we are fighting, where is the thing, where is the whole the leakages. If there is a water tank and so water is not coming to our tap when we are with the morning, when we are opening the tap, no water is there. But there is a tank full of this in our house. And where the water went? Then we go above and we find out in the tank. We go, where is the leakage? Where the whole water washed away? So then we investigate. And then what we do? We refill that. We pack those things, those holes. So that's same thing Swamiji expects us to do. To understand where the hole is. So that we can block those holes and save our ship from sinking. This Indian ship, Swamiji says in later lectures, we'll see. Then I just finished this paragraph. Then Swamiji says, on the other hand, the political systems that we are struggling for in India have been in Europe for ages, have been tried for centuries, and have been found wanting. One after another, the institutions, systems, and everything connected with political government have been condemned as useless. And Europe is restless and does not know where to turn. The material tyranny is tremendous. The wealth and power of a country are in the hands of a few men who do not work but manipulate the work of millions of human beings. By this power, they can deluge the whole earth with blood. Now, he is taking the other extreme. In your country, materialism coming to your help because you were suffering from the decline of spirituality. But in there, they are suffering from the decline of material culture. What is their problem? They have the system, political systems established for centuries. Their governments and everything is so much working. But now what is the same problem is happening? They are also amassing the political power, material wealth to only select few people. And other masses are still suffering. The same thing is happening in Europe also. Here Indian masses are suffering because of spiritual domination. Their Western masses are suffering because of material domination. So everywhere what is there? Masses are always in suffering because they are always a victim of these what you say, the concentration of power. When the power is concentrated, whether it is spiritual power or is a material power, the concentration of power is always detrimental to the masses, the progress of the masses, to the general evolution, the overall evolution. Because what happens, only few evolve. Materialistic development will evolve a few only for material progress, and spiritual development will also, if it is concentrated only in the few, then it will evolve, it will help only few people. So this exactly same mirror image is happening in the West. They are now suffering. Their masses are again same problem, tormented. Now we see there are homeless people in the West. There are no unemployed people. There are people without money, without house, without anything. So the same thing, because material power is only for few CEOs of the companies, corporate giants. They are only having all the wealth of the West, all the wealth of the West, so to speak. And what other people are? They are bare beggars. So we are seeing this. Both these waves are how to balance them. Swamiji is always going to balance, because he is working for the masses. He is working for the overall good of the masses, of the people. Then he says, we'll finish these 4 lines. Religion of all things are under their feet. They rule and stand supreme. Those political powers in the West, religion also has to obey them, because they are so strong that religion will change. The religious book will change the instructions according to the political kings there. The king will instruct what should be written in the religious book. So this much domination becomes in the political hands, and the wealthy people, they will decide what should be written in the religious text. The Western world is governed by a handful of Shylocks. What it means, Shylocks means those people who like money. So there is a Shakespeare story. There was one character, Shylock, in Shakespeare's play. So that Shylock that is what? That you become the shark, shark in the sea. So you are always dominating other small fish. So like that, you are what they call loan shark. They call loan shark. So what you do, you give loan to people. And those who have taken loan, they become your slaves, because they cannot repay the loan. And you are high interest you are giving the loans of high interest. They cannot repay. So they become slowly entangled in the more and more loans they will take. So these Shylocks, this is Shakespeare's character, was a Jewish man who was giving loans to people, and like that character is that. We need not go to those details. But Swamiji is telling that Shylock example means that those people of Paramakudi or those people of India had some knowledge of Shakespeare's this thing. So Swamiji knows his audience, so they will understand if I say Shylocks means what. So you can, that is a very interesting thing that we see. Then he says, all those things that you hear about, constitutional government, freedom, liberty, and parliaments are but jokes. So he's telling all these Western things that you hear, constitutional government, freedom, liberty, parliaments, are but jokes. He saw all these things there. And he saw it's all external only. It's only lip service. Now those governments we see, and we are all now internet age. So we are all enlightened people. We know what is happening in the world. So all these things, on the material development, these institutions, these Western institutions and governments and political systems, they have also shown that only few people are benefited, who are sitting in the parliament, who are sitting in the governments and make policy makers. They are only controlling everything, and other people are the same. Here also same thing had happened, and Swamiji wants to correct it. So we'll see in the next class that what Swamiji wants to give us as a solution. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Namaste.